Adolescence is a challenging time for everyone. From acne to new social situations, it is extremely difficult to excel during this stage of life. But for one teenager in northern England, life is particularly hard. Zara Hartshorn was born with a condition called lipodystrophy, which causes her face to age prematurely. As a result, she looks like a grandmother, even from the tender age of 13. Her mom took her out of school because the bullying was so bad. A bus driver laughed in her face when she tried to pay the child's fare. Strangers stare and point in the street. Kids call her grandma, monkey, and baggy face. It feels like people are looking down their noses at me and staring, she said at her home in northern England. You know when you get that feeling when you're being watched? I feel that everywhere I go. Zara's mother, Tracy Pollard, feels her pain. She, too, was born with lipodystrophy. Pollard, 41, noticed the telltale signs in Zara's face at birth. I was grieving for a child that's got to go through the same things in life that I had to go through, she said. I was angry at myself for actually having Zara. Lipodystrophy is a genetic disease. It is hereditary. It robs the body of the ability to produce fat cells beneath the skin. The disease is extremely rare, and only 2,000 people in the world are known to suffer from its debilitating consequences. Tragically, this condition has been passed down for many generations. In fact, all of the women in Hartshorn's family suffer from this disease, as proven by a horrifying collection of dated family photos. But after years of ridicule, a plastic surgeon at the University of Texas heard about Zara's condition and felt sorry for her. As a result, he flew her out to Texas to undergo a series of tests. The results were extraordinary. It turns out that Zara actually had an even rarer disease called cutis laxa. As well as the obvious symptoms, cutis laxa can cause serious health problems, affecting the lungs, heart, and arteries. But there was good news. Cutis laxa is more treatable than lipodystrophy, and the surgeon agreed to give Zara a procedure. News of the diagnosis shocked Zara, and she opted to undergo a 4-hour facelift performed by Dr. Robert Ersek to shave years off of her. Overjoyed with her new face, Zara brimmed with confidence, and her mother also opted to get the surgery and look closer to her own age. But 4 years since the surgery, her saggy skin has slowly returned, and a family feud temporarily tore her and her mom apart. Now 20, Zara admits she doesn't look after herself and hasn't given her health a second thought. She said, "When I came back from the States, life was completely different. It was amazing, but the happiness didn't last." Zara still looks old beyond her years, and though she fell in love and got pregnant, she had a miscarriage and is seemingly right back where she started. Acceptance of her condition has made Zara turn a new corner, and she's determined to use it to help others. She said, "In all honesty, I don't blame anyone for this illness. As daft as it sounds, everyone's born the way they are for a reason, and there is a reason I am the way I am. For me, the future is about trying to help as many people as possible that have got the same condition as me. I would like to inspire and try to help and reach out to those people that are scared to come forward and admit to the world that they have got this illness. Hopefully this is the beginning of a new healthy chapter in Zara's life, but she is not the only teenager with serious health problems that distinguish them from the rest of their peers. For example, a Chinese teenager has an extra 3 vertebrae in his neck, which causes him pain and makes it hard to walk. Fu Wengui, who lives in Beijing, China, suffers from a number of conditions. While the standard number of vertebrae in the neck is 7, Fu has 10, his father Fu Genyo claims. These vertebrae press on the nerves in his neck and make it difficult for him to walk, said the 50-year-old. He always causes a stir whenever he goes out. Age 6, Wengui was diagnosed with congenital scoliosis and abnormal chest frame. Congenital scoliosis is a spinal deformity caused by abnormally formed vertebrae and usually occurs in early development, according to the Scoliosis Research Society. Wengui's surgery will reduce the size of his neck and hopefully enhance movement and reduce pain. A Beijing-based charity will sponsor his surgery at Chaoyang Hospital, which is currently working on a treatment plan, according to Quirky News press release. "I just hope I can have a normal neck," Wengui said. He has faced taunting in school for his abnormal condition. Schoolmates call him Giraffe and are not sympathetic to his chronic pain. It is not clear how exactly the doctors will shorten Fu Wengui's neck. Wengui's surgeons cannot cut his spinal cord in any way, nor can they simply remove the extra 3 vertebrae to make his neck the normal length. Aggressive treatment would leave Fu a quadriplegic, or perhaps kill him. It is likely that the surgeons will employ a progressive approach to Wengui's condition. He will require multiple surgeries to shorten his neck a little bit at a time. His abnormal chest frame will likely be addressed with external bracing once the neck surgery is complete. The charity that agreed to sponsor his surgery is currently working on a treatment plan that will be safe enough to prevent further damage to his spinal cord. Fu Wengui has stated that his condition causes significant pain when he moves. Pain relief will be the top goal of his spine surgeons, while improving function where possible. But for another teen, a long neck is only one of his weirdly sized appendages. Brandon Marshall is only 16 years old, but he already measures an unbelievable 7 feet 4 inches tall. He has grown an extra 5 inches in the last year, and doctors say he has not reached his final height. He is believed to be the tallest teen in the world, after former record holder Brock Brown, who is 7 feet 8 inches, turned 20. Brandon, known to his friends as Tiny, has just fulfilled his sporting dream by being picked for the Welsh national basketball team. His mother said, "I can't believe he's still growing. To be honest, I don't know what height he's going to reach." He does tend to struggle with roofs, ceilings, doorways, just everything normal-sized people take for granted. He has got a super king bed at the moment, but we're having an 8-foot custom bed built for him. It's crazy walking down the road with Brandon. People stop him, asking for photos with him. This is challenging for Brandon because he is very shy, but he seems to be warming up to all the attention. After a series of tests, doctors are still unsure why he has grown to such amazing proportions. But unlike many of the other tallest people in the world, his quality of life is good, and he isn't suffering from any major health problems. Brandon, who trains 3 times a week with National League team Bury Bulldogs, was recently selected for the Wales national basketball team, as his mother is Welsh. He is currently preparing for his first professional match, and will be jetting off to Lithuania to begin training. For Brandon, an avid basketball fan, this is a dream come true. And then there's the case of Sleeping Beauty. Unlike the others on this list, she looks exactly like the rest of her classmates. But there is one glaring difference. When Louisa Ball tries to catch some Z's, she can actually sleep for 2 weeks at a time. Louisa has slept through holidays, friends' birthdays, and half of her standardized tests. In 2008, at age 14, she had been suffering from flu-like symptoms. She was at her school in Sussex when she started nodding off in class and behaving strangely. "I didn't know what I was doing, what I was saying. Everyone thought, hey, this isn't right," she recalls. "I was hallucinating, and after that, I don't remember anything. All of a sudden, it just went blank, and I just slept for 10 days. I woke up and I was fine again." Her parents Rick and Lottie watched their daughter become fidgety with unusual facial expressions as she sank into sleep. The first time was a frightening experience for them, although Louisa herself says she wasn't scared by the episode, more puzzled. Her parents would rouse her for bathroom breaks and ravenous feedings. She'd go through a whole pack of biscuits, or 5 or 6 packets of crisps, anything that she could get her hands on, said her father. It was a case of almost like a hamster hibernating, and the food would get stuffed in, and you had to step in and say, "Whoa, that's enough." It was really weird. No one knew what was wrong. We just thought it wasn't going to happen again. And then 4 weeks later, it happened again. She was finally diagnosed with Klein-Levin syndrome. There is no known cause or cure, but Louisa says it was good to know what it was, and that it wasn't life-threatening. The average time it takes to diagnose the condition is 4 years, because there is no test, and so it requires a process of elimination of other disorders. The disease was named after Willie Klein, a neurologist from Frankfurt, and Max Levin, a psychiatrist from New York, who identified patients with similar symptoms in 1925 and 1936. The fact that Louisa suffers from this disease is uncanny, because it usually affects young men and causes them to have hypersexual tendencies, which she has not exhibited. Some people with KLS have complained that they have lost their friends because they suddenly disappear for weeks on end. But Louisa has a close-knit group of girlfriends. Some even visit her when she's sleeping, just to check she's okay. When she wakes up, it takes her a few days to fully acclimate to her surroundings, and her body is quite stiff, so her dancing is affected for a while afterward. I've never really got upset about it, but I do sometimes think, why me? Because I've always been a normal, healthy person. But all of a sudden it happened, and there's no reason why it happened, and that sometimes frustrates me. However, Louisa continues to have a good attitude. She seems to accept that she is not like her classmates, and that's okay. She is still attending university and looks like she has a very bright future ahead of her. And finally, there is Deepak Kumar, a boy who verges into the arena of superheroes. The 16-year-old can withstand 11,000 volts of electricity surging through his body, a feat that he discovered on accident while attempting to fix his mother's heater. According to doctors, 2,700 volts of electric shock is enough to kill a human being. Deepak Kumar discovered that his body could take up to 11,000 volts, the amount of voltage used to light up 500 homes, without harming him physically. Later, Deepak tried TV wires, light bulbs, an electric woodcutter, and an electric water pump, but each time he did not suffer any shock or injuries. He would simply stop the devices working. He was even able to sit with his hands inside a tub of water along with naked live wires. He claims, "I have a gift from God. I feel very privileged. I have the power to do things no one else can, and I don't intend on wasting it." Deepak says that when his teachers came to know about it, they asked him to see a doctor. Physicians conducted few blood tests, but the results were clear. All the reports were normal. How Deepak chooses to use this gift will prove interesting for all his fans around the world. He doesn't plan to disappoint.